On November 1st, at 11:52 a.m., a tragedy struck the Serbian city of Novi Sad. The roof of the main train station collapsed, killing 15 innocent people. What initially seemed like a tragic accident quickly turned out to be a symbol of deep-rooted corruption and mismanagement within the government. In the months that followed, citizens led by courageous students rose up in massive protests against those in power and loudly demanding for justice and transparency.
The police weren't in their uniforms, they were dressed like civilians, and they started to beat up my friend, then her boyfriend.
They attacked them, and the attack on Anna was so brutal that they destroyed her jaw.
Since 2 months, students from the Faculty of Philosophy in Novi Sad have maintained a prolonged blockade of their university, demanding accountability and transparency from the government. Their actions have inspired similar movements nationwide, uniting various sectors of society in a collective stand against corruption. This documentary delves into the resilience and determination of these young activists as they challenge systemic issues and strive for a just future. Discordia, Faces of Protest.
Welcome to this faculty in which usually we study languages, psychology, philosophy, sociology, but now we are blocking it because our country is in a really bad place and in a big need of change.
So my parents protested against Milosevic in the late 90s, early 2000s, so I kind of grew up with that mentality that you always have to fight.
For me, I think this was the moment that I was waiting for, and I was raised to fight for the truth and for a better life.
On the 1st of November, it was a moment when the authorities, local authorities, told that the canopy that fell was never actually reconstructed. And it was a blatant lie, everybody knows that, and I had this gut feeling that that's wrong.
The 1st of November was a terrible day for everyone, not only in Novi Sad, but in the whole of Serbia. The atmosphere in this city is basically still from the moment it fell. It hasn't changed a lot, only maybe grew. The anger in people only grew.
The protest of the 5th of November, those were the biggest protests in Novi Sad. A lot of my friends were arrested then, so I wanted to help them, so we kind of started everything because of that.
For me personally, it was like the last drop. We have dozens and dozens of similar stories, of course without 15 victims, but it was the last drop, and I think we collectively felt the need to react in the most basic way, and for our students it was like to come here and start from our place, from our academic home.
The thing that solidarity, the empathy that we stick together, that kind of gave us the power to continue even when they try to suppress this movement.
I'm a part of generation that has a lot of stereotypes, like we are not interested in anything, we are lazy, I don't know, we are only on our phones, and then suddenly Gen Z is like the leaders, are like leaders of this big, massive, I don't know, revolution.
Over time, their movement grew into a nationwide call for democratic reforms, with peaceful demonstrations forcing multiple resignations, but continuing as students push for deeper systemic change.
I felt like hopeless because we saw no regrets in their actions. They try to ignore everything that we demand. They try to ignore all those people's lives that they killed them, and they're ignoring that. So everybody here is really angry, and we demand change, and we will not stop until we get the change that we want.
Our requests are precise and simple and elementary. We do not want to deal with any politicians. We do not deal with the government. We are addressing the institutions. They need to start working. They need to do the thing they exist for.
When institutions are not working, that's influencing not just me and not just my friends, that's influencing the whole, every part of our society. Everyone is included and everyone wants to join this movement because people are not satisfied.
The moment we say, okay, we're done here, is the moment where we see the complete documentation with names, with all details made public, and when there's people who are responsible for this tragic disaster are brought to justice, that's the moment I will say, okay, I'm done, I'm going home.
If we have a moment in which institutions are working, in which people who are responsible for the death of 15 people and 2 people who are still fighting for their life, then we have reached a point where we can believe in institutions again, and then we can start over.
So think about this the next time your government wants to f*** you. Fight for yourself and the ones you love. Be the faces of protest. Discordia.